South Node and Scorpio in general, this transit will be, come on with the secrets.
There is a fucking website right now. You saw the post, Janét. What they selling on the website?
Oh, they are selling.
They are
used panties.
You said it was gonna get weird, Ty.
And like,
used
okay, so now I'm gonna be transparent because I know Marie knows this. Ty probably doesn't know this. So I used to be a phone sex operator. This is not something that I put on my resume ever. So it's interesting that I'm talking about it at all. But I took the job on a dare, actually. I saw an ad in the paper, and I went downtown, and I thought it would be funny. And they were like, no, we love you. And then I was like, I could get paid to have phone sex? So I've
heard your professional voice. I'd pay you for phone sex.
And I had to change my voice though because we would take different calls. You would literally get a call, the phone would ring, and you'd hear, So most of the time, most of your calls would be fantasy girl calls. So you're between 18 and 24, and you have to sound like you're Caucasian. So that was fun. But then I took dominance calls. But anyway, I figured out I could do it from home and get paid more money. So I did. And then I could set my own price per minute. So I did. But people used to ask for my panties when I worked from home. And I was like, I'm not sending nobody that with my DNA on it. Sorry. Like, at that time, I was like, you not going to, like, kill somebody or something. Nope.
Right, you can leave your panties at the crime scene.
Listen, sir, here's what we're not going to do. My DNA is not getting sent to a stranger. So I was like, I'll have to, because people were making a lot of money from that. Like, there was a fucking forum. There were a couple of them online, 4 phone sex operators that worked from home. We used to all talk. There were people in there that would build you a web page. Like, it was a beautiful space, to be honest, because all these women were coming together and helping each other in this industry. So it was very common for people to sell panties, but a lot of people didn't feel comfortable with that and then would seek out other things that they could weirdly capitalize on. Like, I decided to do a character that was a grandmother because there's an adult baby diaper lover fetish. Why not? And you can buy stock photos. Like, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to send my DNA, but I'm going to find a different way.
Look how we're getting into the node Scorpio Taurus right now, making money through sex, sexual activity. You see that? We already starting the shit. But that's another way. You know, people are making money. Like, there's literally a website where women sell their pants. There's a foot fetish website, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes. Selling feet. You know, I got some advice saying that, and I have Venus and Pisces, so it kind of made me go,
I should do this.
They're all like, just don't give them all 10 toes. Those are the money shots. I said, ooh, there's a way? Like,
yes. Like, this is too easy.
Right. Like, how do I charge them by the toe? You know?
You can charge them by the toe, and I'm going to tell y'all something. And it's still the same now because I checked into it. Like, I don't do that as a profession anymore. It got to be very tiring, to be honest. And I became, like, obsessed with working. Like, especially since I was home. And I had small children, so I would take them to school and work for 8 hours. Then we have them come home and, you know, get everybody together, put you to bed, and then I would work from 10 to 2 a.m. And I did that 5 days a week, and then on Saturdays, I would work from 10 to 4 a.m. And then I started to realize after a while my life was revolving around I didn't want to miss an opportunity to get a call because I got a lot of calls. And then I started learning about different categories. So some of the things that you're saying will come out with these nodal chains being sexual. I like that we're talking about fetishes because you would be surprised the things that people wanted. The most common thing I can tell you guys after I did that for basically 6 years of
Right.
my
You got
life.
a lot of information.
Right. And I'm telling you, first of all, you can pick up on things from people without them even saying it after a while. Like a guy will talk and I'm like, oh, he wants to get fucked in the ass. Like he doesn't even have to say it. Like I just hear the tones of his voice. It's weird. It's a habit I can't turn off.
Wow.
But like out in the street, when men talk, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't need to know that, sir.
Your sex
Too loud.
is at 10.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But the number one thing was men. It was a tie between wanting to be pegged, so you putting on the strap on, and humiliated. Now there were different types of humiliation too. Some men want to be verbally humiliated, and that was weird for me, honestly, to do as a person. I got good at it, but at first I struggled with the more stern, because I was like, I felt weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like, you want me to call you a pussy boy? You want me to tell you my clit's bigger than your dick?
Wow.
That's the type of thing that was common.
Unprocessed trauma. Listen,
Right.
that is.
I still want to do that now.
Very South. Not only you just recanting your experience. That's South Node and Scorpio, the past of my sexual history. But South Node and Scorpio, I think what you're saying is really key right now, because South Node and Scorpio in general, this transit will be, come on with the secrets. Come on, the dark, hidden, repressed in the crevices of my psyche that I never got over the fact that when I was 4.
Oh, those sex cases, Ty? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pluto's still in Capricorn right now.
Yep.
They finna come out the woodworks.
Yep. Them people are just Lane is finally not gonna continue to be quiet about people involved. Like there's a lot coming, y'all. Sit back.
Ooh.
The nodes are supposed to be very karmic too, especially the South. So one thing that's online that I've seen a lot that I guess people don't fully understand is its connection to wrapping up cycles, I guess, or giving you the opportunity, you could say, to do so. By the time, like, we're dealing with people coming to the realization that, you said something about this earlier, Marie, like, I have to take responsibility. I can't just eschew it. Like, you have to take things seriously now, because, like, Scorpio's a heavy energy. Taurus is heavy, too. It's like if you just think a bull is fucking heavy, you don't want it fucking charging at you. Good luck getting it to stop. And if you want a bull to move, well, you need some electricity, which is Uranus and Taurus, the cattle prod to the bull. But I think people really, 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 really need to pay attention to the fact that there's going to be things bubbling up to the surface that are going to probably make some people uncomfortable, repulsed by. But this is something that we have to go through, just like we had to go through that 18 months of being fucking annoyed by people standing on their soapboxes, and then all the too much information. You know what I mean?
Right.
South Node of Scorpio is going to take away. I feel like, okay, if Taurus is the grounded, let's have a stable, steady foundation here. Let's really just, really get our feet planted in something consistent. If that's Taurus, then the South Node in Scorpio is going to remove that investment that does not support anything that really that contributes to your value, right? Because I think it's going to, that's not, let's not pretend like, like you said, sexual issues or even taboo, things that are taboo won't come to the surface, but they will. Very true. But I think, honestly, now you got me thinking about the whole Ghislaine Maxwell situation and all that. That South Node in Scorpio says, oh, you guys have had sexual improprieties. Oh, it's time to pay. It's time to
They're already starting. Prince Andrew, Queen, stripped away all of his titles for being involved in those sexual acts. That the courts they've left it up to the courts now to decide whether or not to release the other names. So I think they're going to, because 2 of them on that list have said, yeah, sure, release my name, which is interesting. But yeah, just with us talking about what the CDC and Fauci did, the whole changing of the narrative, the having to come up and just be brutally honest and forthcoming because of suspicions, people being suspicious of them, just digging up old bones.
So now what happens if they say, okay, this person had a heart attack and, clogged arteries on heart attack, but they haven't had COVID, but they didn't die from COVID. They actually died from arteriosclerosis or whatever they call it, clogged arteries. Right. They didn't die from COVID. So then what you're telling me is that the hospitals who got, 40 grand per body when they actually declared the cause of death as COVID, y'all were in a little fucking conspiracy. See, this is what, some people, telling me is that some people really didn't have to die, but you put them on that fucking respirator and blew their lungs out so you could get that 40 grand. That's what you're telling. Listen, this South Node in Scorpio is going to expose, because see, the low side of Taurus is having no morals just because you want fucking money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like that's another thing that's going to come out. Because remember, since square to Saturn, square to Saturn, and it may this is Aquarius season.
Yeah,
sun's there, and it's this may really just, like you said, it may surface all of these issues about sexual impropriety, about we had to do what we had to do because government told us to do it, and we get money for it, and and Pluto in Capricorn, like you said, still in Capricorn for another 2 years or whatever. So that's just the decline of government, outdated, government structure. Right. So also that you see, that's Fauci right there. That's Pluto in Capricorn, is Fauci being like, okay.
Oh, that generation is going to continue to make people pay for that, like Marie was saying earlier.
Oh, yeah.
When Pluto goes into that is definitely not going to have been ignored, and they're going to do something about it. So this is
because they're going to resent.
Interesting. Yes.
The kids that are growing up now, and the young teenagers that are Pluto and Capricorn, is a resentment for authority. It's a resentment for the old ways. It's a resentment for anybody older or feels like they have power over somebody else. So
some traditions.
And exactly, and traditions. So they're not going to deal with that very well. And I tell people, if you have children that were born between 2008 and now, give or take a couple of months, because it retrograde and it was back in Sagittarius, so you have to look at the specific date. But pay attention to your children, because the Pluto and Capricorn children are already giving insight into the type of energy, what they don't deal with. And a lot of these kids are fuck no. Like they're literally like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I've gotten parents who have come underneath my post to say, yeah, my kid has Pluto and Cap and everything with them is no. You know what I mean? It's just they don't deal with it, and they're brutally honest, where they're calling people out for their rudeness or being uncouth or anything of that matter. Because if you think about Capricorn has Libra at the top of the chart. Capricorn really does aim to be fair, which is why they can seem like they're cruel, because or that they don't care, because they don't care about, this hurts you more than this person. This person still needs it more than you. Do you see what I'm saying? You may be crying, I need to feed my kids, and I need to feed my kids. And Capricorn goes, well, it's fair to give it to this person because they're making less money than you. But I have kids, I should be. And so Capricorn energy seems to be mean as fuck, because they aim to be fair as fuck. They also aim to be polite in public as well. So if you're looking at these Pluto and Capricorn children, and you can see what they don't like and what they resent, especially when it comes to society, because it's so weird that even my own children, because I have 3 kids with Pluto and Cap, that it isn't about TV and things they don't like. It's about people's behaviors. Even if they're watching a movie, it's about the characters' behaviors. They're pointing that shit out. I don't like that, Mom. I don't like he said that. I don't like he did that. I'm all like, but don't you like the graphics? Because that's what we used to. We like the way it looked. You know, they are focused on how it is. That real truth, that grounding, like, okay, fuck all that extra shit. What is bare bones? That's Pluto and Capricorn. Bare fucking bones, deep bones in the closet. And they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Uncover that. And like you said, bring it
dig up them bones.
Yeah, digging up old bones.
So that makes me think you guys are actually like spinning the wheels in my mind, making me think that, okay, with the South Node in Scorpio, okay, we know the Scorpio and Capricorn are bedfellows, pretty much. I mean, for you literally, right? For you literally, like, right, Marie? Yeah. Scorpio and Capricorn.
I love that energy.
I'm Scorpio, Capricorn with Pluto and Saturn in Scorpio. So I don't.
Marie, you are the devil playing in hell. That's what that is, and I love it. I love it.
Because you're a Capricorn, right? In relationship with Scorpio. So I'm saying you guys are literally bedfellows, literally.
And that too, right? Yeah. And that too.
No, she's the devil playing in hell. I love it. Yes.
Married to Satan.
Being the third house Scorpio, you guys think, you guys think alike. Capricorn's like, we got to get rid of this motherfucker. Scorpio's like, okay, all right, let's work out where we're going to bury the body. They work together. So it makes me think with the South Node in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto and Capricorn. It makes you guys, what you just said, Marie, has me thinking that in so many ways, nobody getting away with shit over these next 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Nobody getting away with shit.
Yeah.
It's funny because I even said that in my post. I said around these Pluto and Cap children, you're going to want to be on your best behavior. If there's one key thing that I've noticed with these 3 Pluto and Cap children, they aim, seek, and desire to punish. They want to see punishment like you do something wrong, they are tattletaling like nobody's business. They will also manipulate situations to try to get one or the other in trouble. And then it's crazy if I'm I'm scolding one of my children, the other 2 Pluto and Caps will stop everything they're doing to run to witness the punishment.
I must see.
Is he gonna get a whooping? He's gonna get a whooping, isn't he? I knew it.
You know what's funny about this? You're making me think of things generationally. Like, I love that you see that with your children. And then to think, I'm a Pluto and Libra, so my generation squares that generation. Mm-hmm. So it started making me think about, and then I'm thinking about, well, my mom's a Pluto and Leo. I was more inclined to be like, okay, I'm looking to you to tell me what to do, because, that tactile energy between, Leo and Libra.
Right.
But, I feel like my generation was the on the fence generation. Our parents were like, you're supposed to get a good job, and get the benefits, and get the pension, and that's it. And that's what we were told to do. But we were alive during a time where we saw things drastically change. Like, to be able to say you remember where if people wanted to find you, they couldn't call your cell phone. They had to take the chance on maybe you being home. And, just the difference, and then us seeing computers and how those evolved too. Because I remember when I was like in first grade, we had an Apple IIe, which isn't something that a lot of people remember, with the floppy disk. I've showed floppy disks to children, and they're like, the hell is that?
Is that a coaster?
From that, yes. But then by the time I'm 18, I did have a cell phone. But stuff was so different than it is now. So, like, my generation was kind of, I feel like, is we supposed to be doing what they told us to do? Because I feel like change is afoot. And then we were the it's not fair generation, of course. Like, I remember that just being something that was in the atmosphere that children my age, when I was younger, would say. Or just, like, when you think about that. So you say, you know what I mean? That's not fair. We didn't necessarily know what to do about it, but as a generation in some ways. But we said that. I love that you said that about the Pluto and Capricorn.
That's funny because I know that about. I keep saying that's funny. Why am I doing that? It's just driving me crazy. I pick a word and I stay stuck on it. The Pluto in Virgo. If you hear a lot of Gen X, they are just so over younger generations not getting to work or just not accepting that things are supposed to be hard. I hear so many of like my cousins and stuff. I'd be like, oh, it's hard. They're all like, yeah. go to Desert Storm. I'd be like, what did that have to do with anything? Yeah? Drive a helicopter with brains all over it. Then come talk. I used to be like, oh, man. I told my cousin one day, I was all like, oh, man, he killed it. And he looked at me like, he killed it? What do you mean killed? Do you know anything about killing?
Wow.
I'm just like, yo, dude, the heaviness. But Virgo, that's Capricorn, the 5th house. You know, they're just naturally at it. But they are the type that'll sit there and be like, yeah, you had a hard day. Suck my dick. Give me a wine.
Right.
That's the hard knock life generation.
Yeah, they are. And then you have the Pluto and Scorpio generation, which was my generation. And we wanted to investigate everything. If I remember, there was a whole lot of questioning as to why. And sex, even still, was a very prominent subject, because I can specifically remember being in the 3rd grade and my peers were already deciding who were going to be boyfriend and girlfriends and going behind fences to kiss and all this other stuff. Even when I look at it, I'm all like, God, we were acting like adults, but we all got into sex very easily. It became the generation where just being more sexually adventurous. I would give that to the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, but I would say that the Pluto and Scorpio started the investigation into sex. We want to find out a little bit more. So having
AIDS came out, right? During the Pluto and Scorpio generation, right?
I believe so. What year was that? Wait, Pluto and Scorpio started in 81, 82. No, AIDS had already been out before that.
No, it's later than that. It's past 83. I know it's for sure past 83 because I'm Pluto and Libra.
Okay, so
at 20 some degrees, and I was born in 1980.
Okay. So
I think
right.
And I know people born I know people born in 83. I think it changed in 83 if I'm not mistaken, depending on when you were born. I don't know. I might be wrong.
The Pluto generation was about accepting the fact that divorce is sometimes acceptable.
Yeah, that started a real divorce generation there. Yeah. I agree.
I will agree.
Right now, squaring your natal natal Pluto in Libra, Pluto in Capricorn, squaring that. I'm sure you guys are finding when you do readings for people, who are late 30s, early 40s, whatever, have Pluto in Libra. There's a lot of relationship lessons that have been on the for a while. A lot of relationship lessons about control and commitment and
and they've been hard for some people, and the harder that they've been fighting them, or facing them or dealing with them, the worse off they're being. And the thing is, it doesn't stop. Like, you know what I mean? That squared up energy that's like literally like, all right, we just gonna have to box because I don't know what you're not understanding about this lesson. I'm gonna keep squaring up with you until you get it. It's like it's been interesting. Also, the fact that I feel like people who are born between like maybe 1979 and 1983, which would be the Pluto and Libra generation, I feel like they feel like lost a lot. Even in the fact that if you look up, am I a millennial? Am I a this? Am I a that? You'll see, depending on how somebody ranks that, some of them just get excluded. Like, I can't look something up definitively that puts 1980 either this way or that way. It's like categorized in different ways.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I kind of feel like, and let's see what. So if my Pluto's at 20-some degrees, hold on. Ain't this a shame? I can't remember my own damn. It's 21 degrees. I was right. So what? That's the third decan. So we're talking Gemini. I'm just trying to see how this like correlates. I think it would be really good to talk about the generation.
21 degrees. Your Pluto's 21 degrees of a Libra.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question really quickly. A couple weeks ago, when Venus retrograde squared that, how did that play out for you? Okay. I just wanted to. I figured as much.
And it was 81, by the way, just to backtrack on that.
81? Okay.
The AIDS had appeared in 81, and that was Pluto in Libra.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to go. I had to get my research.
Were they calling it AIDS then yet, or was it when the disease just
it says it was first identified in the United States in 1981. 3 years after scientists identified AIDS, they discovered its cause, HIV. So 3 years later. which would be
Discovery.
Pluto in Scorpio.
Oh,
Is that HIV caused it? Yeah.
Because at first it was like misdescribed as cancer or something, like when they call it gay cancer or something like that. It wasn't really, what it ended up being something else later, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's so weird because they say in this thing that that it apparently in the 1920s had crossed from chimpanzees to humans, and I don't even want to. All I'm gonna say is y'all nasty.
Yeah, y'all nasty.
That was a whole.
We know what
that was a lie, though, right? Like that was a whole like.
This is actually on avert.org, which is Global Information and Education. And it does say that it's widely believed, but that they don't know. They don't know. It's just widely believed. But it doesn't say that it was debunked. It doesn't say that ain't
so in other words, it's still possible that
it's a possibility. Okay, we didn't just got all off.
Y'all was nasty. Y'all
was nasty. Dealing with the animals.
Listen, that's another thing people ask for more commonly than you would think.
No, not the animals.
So when I worked at the call center, we couldn't take what were called taboo calls. And taboo calls would be considered necrophilia, animals, religious fantasies. But when I worked from home, I found a company to contract for where I could just log in and take calls. And then I put myself out there on their sites where you can put listings up and get calls.
Right.
And they connect the call for you. So anyway, that was a very interesting time because regularly when I work from home and there's no taboo, then I would answer the phone, and I remember one time I did, and this man was like, I got a big pit bull here. You gonna let him mount you? And I just had to immediately get into character. And I'm like, can you, like, listen, that job is crazy. But you know what I found out? You know I was good at it? Because my imagination is like, I would literally be smoking weed and drinking wine and waiting for the phone to ring. And I would be sitting there kind of stoned and a little wine drunk and just talk. And I can talk.
Yeah.
And keep people on the phone because you're paying per minute. So I'm just like, this is fucking amazing. So, but when it came to certain subjects, I would do it, but I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? Like, the entire time trying to be convincing while being repulsed by something is very interesting.
Oh my God. Animals. I don't know why that, just even talking about the taboo thing, the Uranus and Taurus and the Saturn and Aquarius, Taurus kind of being domesticated animals. And with the North Node there and the South Node and Scorpio, because I've always had this feeling that the expression for freedom, for wanting people to live their life and do whatever they want to do, would kind of let everybody do whatever they want to do. And there's an argument for everything. Remember, I said Aquarius when we were talking, that Aquarius is the sign that has an excuse for everything. They could come up with a reason for it all. Seeing maybe this progression into people crossing those sexual boundaries, not only coming out with sexual misconduct, but also coming out with those that like a little ba black sheep, or enjoy they want a pit bull to mount them, or and having these strange fetishes, not the ones, panty sniffing and foot fetishes. Everyone's kind of aware of it. We know it's a fetish, but at the same time, it's not so weird, right? I mean, it's weird, but it's not that weird. But you have others that are truly fucking taboo, where we start seeing a rise that maybe some of these sexual misconduct cases that have come up don't necessarily all have to do with people.
Ma'am, I wouldn't be surprised. There were enough people that violated my eardrums with asking me to do things with animals and scenario with them on the phone that let me know that there's a lot of people thinking about this, and I think curiosity gets the best of people. So I'm not going to think in my head they haven't tried it, or that they haven't tried to find an app or watched it, because it's out there. I wish I didn't know this, but I do.
So I would say overall that if anybody's looking at these conversations, because these are conversations that if you look at it right now, if someone were to listen to this and pull up a natal chart, they could see in the transit the conversation we're having now. No matter when they're looking at it, something's going to play and match with it.
Yeah.
And if they're following that chart and they see what energies we're talking about, if we're on sex, you'll see where Pluto is, you see what Scorpio is doing, and then you can see the area of life that's triggering a flashlight for that person or individual to pay attention to. So though it does seem coming from people who aren't necessarily astrologers or are just getting into it, that when they see astrologers having what appears to be very mundane conversations, we know that they're planetary energies at the same time. So yes. I always try to implore people, like, because the way that I teach astrology, even the people, my followers or my fans on my pages and stuff, they know that the way I show astrology is I show astrology. Exactly. I show astrology in behavior. I show astrology in objects. I show what the energy produces itself. Mm-hmm. So even talking about what I'm seeing, we're talking about all these sexual things that may come out. At the end of the day, these things aren't useful, right? They aren't useful for someone unless they're making money with it, right? Yeah. And even still, they have to be very careful about how they're making money because it's dangerous. Pluto's a very dangerous energy sign. So even getting involved in a lot of those things can be very dangerous for a person. So I know we're talking about going to that shit, but do your due diligence, your research, protect yourself. Don't throw yourself out there for the sake of money, which describes the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus. These things to do to make money, to transform, to be an individual at all costs.
Yeah.
Well, even you admitted it, Janét. You admitted it, like, well, kind of. It was implied the way you were describing your experience, that you think, oh, I'm distant from this because I was on the phone, I was where I lived, this person was somewhere off in where the ethers, wherever they live, but there's still emotional residue, psychological residue.
Yeah.
And there's an impact. This, Scorpio is still investment. And it's not just physical investment. Mm-hmm. There's emotional investment.
Yeah.
There's spiritual investment. There's a mysticism. Pisces is often, described as mystical or mysticism, but there's a mystical element to all the water signs. Scorpio included. So I think the South Node in Scorpio may also be saying, from what I'm gathering from what you shared today, is that you want to realize that there's consequences to investment, merging. There's consequences to intertwining with other people's energy field.
That's why I couldn't do it anymore. That's why I was drained.
You said it flat out.
Well, and Pluto's in Capricorn. That's literally that. There is consequence to the investment. That's Pluto.
Yeah, people are like, you're insane. You like, especially with the amount of money you're thinking of. Like, how do you know? I'm like, I could teach somebody how to do it if they wanted to know, like tricks and secrets and things that I learned. But I don't want to do it anymore.
My brain just started tingling. So Pluto is 26 degrees Capricorn. The North Node is right now 29. The South Node is 29 Scorpio. So in about less than a week, it's very quick amount of time that's moving there. At some point, the South Node in Scorpio, we'll look at the dates coming up. The South Node in Scorpio is going to exactly sextile Pluto in Capricorn.
Yeah.
Exactly opposed, obviously. The Pluto in Capricorn is going to exactly trine the North Node in Taurus. Just thinking about what you just said, where you're like what you said, Marie, the consequences, Capricorn, of merging with people on an energetic level, whether that be sexual, the sexual emotional component that exists.
If you have depth with somebody.
This is about to be a really interesting astrological dynamic where we have Pluto in direct aspect to the South Node of Scorpio, where it rules. It rules Scorpio and South Node is going to be, and directly trining that North Node. Again, this ain't no Gemini. This ain't no lightweight Gemini.
Right. Gemini. I was just
Not
going to
at
say,
all.
Gemini energy is that energy was very shallow. Not saying that the people are shallow. Relax. But saying the energy itself is shallow.
Right.
Scorpio energy is not shallow, not by a long shot. You know, it is obsessiveness. It is possessiveness. It is literally going into the depths, and because of that trine with Pisces, losing yourself in it. You know, so there we may begin to see, especially on a community level, that people start to lose themselves in their desires and completely ignore the fact of that there's consequences to this, and not finding any value, completely just throwing their morals out of the window for the sake of wanting to acquire to a point where it's detrimental to them. And to pay attention to that. And we would hope that the nodes coming from Gemini and Sagittarius would have shown, just by the information, what happens when people become obsessed with what they think they know, or what they think they have to do, or what they think is right, or what they think is wrong, and they just don't care. To take that information and to realize, really, I would say, if I were to give someone some advice on, well, what would I do during this transit? Because there's many other transits that can play in a person's chart to dictate what exactly you should do. But with that particular energy is to ensure that you're balancing your life between what it is you need and what you think you want, you know, and figuring out that information, deciphering that information. You got a lot of information over the past almost 2 years about what you think you want, what you think you're supposed to have. And here, now you got to put that shit into action. Is what you want going to feed you? North Node and Taurus. Does what you want, what you think you want, is it morally right? You know? And this isn't to be on a high horse, but we do know there are some things that are just morally fucked up. Yeah. And it not only affects, because it's emerging, it not only affects you, it affects everyone around you. So, you know, it's still Venus energy. It may be Taurus Venus energy, but that's also still belongs to Libra. Yeah. There has to be some consideration.
And like you said, you know, being a Uranus is involved, Uranus is freedom. So a lot of the issues that people face will cause them to address the fact that you need to be freed from some of this shit. It's not about being a slave to your darkest desires and your most oppressive stuff. Right. You need to be freed from that. This is opposite Uranus. You know what I mean? Like, which is, again, the whole involuntary thing. Involuntary freedom. Like, Uranus doesn't need permission to show up in your life and shock the shit out of you. Right. You will just find yourself in situations where you're like, oh, okay, all right, I didn't see that coming, but right. You know? So Uranus opposite the South Node in Scorpio says, nah, you're gonna get freed from that shit, whether you like embrace it, probably, or not, because you know, again, it's the Saturn Uranus square. Consequences, freedom, you know, tradition, breaking tradition. Like this whole dynamic that's been going on for a while now, but now we've added more Taurus and Scorpio to the configuration. Got like a P square going
We're
on.
in this fixed sign energy shit, this stubborn ass fixed sign energy, mind you. You know, there are going to be some people who are pulled to the extremes where they refuse to let go until the hurricane appears and wipes their whole house out. But even still, they will sit in the rubble and refuse to build or to move from whatever destruction they've just experienced in their life. Embracing is a key word, as cliche as it sounds. to embrace your changes. You know, people always say that, embrace your changes. And we know we'll sit there and be like, I don't want to fucking embrace no changes, but it's true. If you want to give yourself a peace of mind, you're going to have to learn to adapt and to embrace those changes. And like I said, it's as cliche as it sounds. It's actually very simple advice that is extremely useful. Embrace those changes because it's going to change whether you want to or not.
Yep.
So you might as well just get on that motherfucking monkey and ride that. Better swing them vines.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Astrology Ladies Roundtable discussion. This discussion on Astro Transit Insight is going to continue in part 3. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe so you know when we post a new video. Peace.